Hi everyone, Jennifer Nasid here, physical therapist and owner of Fit for Life Physical Therapy. I'm coming at you today for what will be part one of a 5-part series called Strength for the Journey. Now at the time of this recording, today is April 1st, 2020, and we are truly living in an unprecedented time. Those of us living this COVID-19 pandemic are being forced to live firsthand something that hasn't happened in over 100 years. January 6th, Fit for Life Physical Therapy opened its doors, and for 2.5 months we were blessed to be providing physical therapy to the Concord, Northeast Ohio, Chardon, Menor area. On St. Patty's Day, I felt called to close my doors before the official stay-at-home order went in place for Ohio, mostly out of concern for the safety of my family and my patients, largely because my place at the time needed to be at home helping our 4 children navigate as the rug got pulled out from underneath all of us. So I thought that during this time, when we are staying at home, until we deem it safe and until we feel called to open our doors back up to be providing the skilled physical therapy that we know is truly transforming lives, I thought I would take this time to share part of my story with all of you. Some of you know me better than others. Some of you've heard all of my stories. Some of you have only heard parts of this. But at Fit for Life Physical Therapy, we do believe that everyone has a story and everyone's story matters. And we pride ourselves on having a practice setting that allows the opportunity for people, for us to have the time together, for you all to share your story with me so that I can then take the best care possible of you. So if you'll do me this honor, I will start today's video number 1 in this 5-part series called Strength for the Journey, with chapter 1. My hope in sharing this story or testimony with all of you is that you will see my story and hear something familiar as it relates to your life. I hope that you'll hear my testimony and see my faith so that all glory can be given back to God, because it is through Him that I have had the strength to walk this journey that He has laid out before me. And I hope that you will also then find strength of your own to go through whatever struggle you are going through. So part 1, my story, chapter 1 of my story is called Boston 2018. Prior to Boston Marathon of 2018, my life was easy. I would say blessed. I have 4 beautiful children that God has gifted me with, married to the man of my dreams. And really, prior to Boston, hadn't had too many struggles in my life that I had to overcome. My husband and I met in college, both of us collegiate runners, and running has always been a part of my life. Somewhere in my young 20s, as a new PT, I decided I wanted to run the Boston Marathon. Without a husband, without children, I trained for and qualified for the Boston Marathon when I competed in my first ever marathon, the Columbus Marathon, way back, I think I was 24, 25. I would struggle with injuries over the course of training for the next 2 consecutive years, and my qualification for Boston would expire. I would never get there. I would never get to the starting line for the race that I qualified for. And then life would happen. Life would happen. I would find my soulmate. I would spend the next decade or so having children, and running took a bit of a back seat. Though something I went to for comfort, my goal-setting time of my life took a back seat. Sometime around the time when our littlest was about 2, I got the itch to start training again, and I would choose a half marathon first and successfully complete that, and then set my eyes on the marathon distance. I am a slow learner, and it would take me several attempts, repeated injuries, faulty training cycles, limited belief, and it took, I think, 7 attempts for me to actually train for correctly and run the Erie Marathon in September of 2017, which would be my qualifying marathon. I met a beautiful woman also named Jennifer during that race. Her and I connected immediately, and we would both qualify for our first Boston Marathon together on that day. We would stay in touch. We became quick friends through the distance. We lived in opposite states, and we had similar goals for this Boston. Boy, this was our victory lap. We had done all the hard work. Like, we got there. We got to this race that some people never ever even dream about. And this was supposed to be the victory lap. Oh my goodness. Friends, I trained so smart for that race. I did it all right. I did just enough. I didn't have a time that I cared to run there. I just was gonna go. The sun was gonna be shining. There would be birds chirping. I would be high-fiving my friends that I saw along the course. And I was just going to eat it all up as I participated in my victory lap. Well, it's kind of funny when you think you have plans for something and God has other plans for your life. And that is what happened that April day of the Boston Marathon in 2018. It was the worst weather in Boston Marathon history in 30 years. We had temperatures in the low 30s. We had 30-mile-an-hour headwinds, and you only run one way in Boston from start to finish. And we had torrential downpours of rain. It was awful. For anybody that's ever trained for or completed a marathon, you know what it feels like to be on the starting line and to know the journey ahead of you. It's familiar. I'd been there so many times before. By the time I set my foot to the starting line that Boston Marathon day, I was freezing, I was soaked, and I had no idea how I was going to get to the finish line. It was an extreme struggle for 4 hours and 6 minutes. The blessing of that day was that I ran hand in hand with that beautiful woman, Jen, till almost the end of that race. And we literally carried each other through, singing or reciting Philippians to get us through. My brain is like Philippians 4:13 or 16. Oh my goodness. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Head down, repeating that verse over and over and over and over. Not finishing was not an option, though that happened for many. I would cross the finish line with hypothermia. And for a long time, I was angry. I didn't understand what on earth God could possibly have planned that for, and why that was supposed to be my victory lap, why I had to endure that. But very early on, I also had this deep gnawing that perhaps soon there would be something coming in my life that would require me to lean so heavily on my faith as that. Because for those 4 hours and 6 minutes, I prayed. And I know it was his strength that carried me through the finish line, something so many people didn't finish. Though my faith has always been strong, there's definitely times in my life where I was coasting, where I thought I could handle it all myself, where I failed to lean on my God for my strength. And the only thing that I could possibly figure, the only reason that I could possibly figure that this was coming, that I had to go through this, was that something more was coming. Well, it wouldn't be long before that something would arrive, but I'll ask you to stay tuned for the next video for chapter 2. My plan is to bring these videos to you over the next few days, so thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to continuing to share my story with you.